One ticket to the 11 o'clock showing of Elemental, please. What the? Oh boy. Excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me. Trying to get to my movie. Man, this is a huge crowd. Let me guess. Too many June movies? Yeah. Oh, wait till you see December before Oscar season. Elemental is one of those movies that came out in theaters at the wrong place at the wrong time because earlier in June 2023, it was already crammed with tons of summer movies. Across the Spider-Verse, Indiana Jones 5, Ruby Gilman, and more. There was even an internet battle on who would be the victor, this or The Flash, since they were both released on the same date. Though neither received tons of box office records on its first weekend, it was Elemental who had the last laugh, gaining more momentum the following weekend than its opponent, as well as receiving a good word of mouth. But I'm not here to say if this anime film is a hit or a flop, I'm here to talk about it as a whole. The film was directed by Peter Song, who made another Pixar movie a while back called The Good Dinosaur. But believe it or not, Peter had made a name for himself in voice acting. He voiced Emil in Ratatouille, Squishy from Monsters University, Socks the Cat from Lightyear, and even played Miles Morales' roommate in the Spider-Verse sequel. Elemental was a movie he was really passionate about because it was inspired by his childhood growing up as the sons of immigrants in New York during the 1970s. When his family from Korea arrived at the New World to build a grocery store in Bronx, the city presented distinct cultural and ethnic diversity, and the story for his movie was inspired by romantic films such as Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, Moonstruck, and Emile. Production began back in 2016, and when it was finished, Elemental was molded into Pixar's latest anime film of June 16, 2023. Welcome to another episode of the Wonder Reviews. Let's see what kind of mixture Pixar conjure up. This is my review of Elemental. It starts out with Ember's parents giving her a full-time job at her dad's store called The Fireplace as part of his retirement plan. But the place sprung a leak, and a waterboy named Wayne reported to his boss about the issue. So Ember and Wade had to figure out what's causing the water hazard to save her dad's store. But the more they investigate and solve the problem, the more they seem to have a close connection with each other. Now just to point out, this is not the first time Pixar has ever done a romance story. We have seen some romance between Woody and Bo Peep, specifically the fourth film, Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl in the first Incredibles movie, Carl and Ellie from Up, and of course Wall-E with the title character in Eve. However, Elemental is considered the first Pixar story where the romance is the main plot of the film instead of a subplot. But there is an issue with it, even for an original movie. It's the same love comedy story we hear a bunch of times in any movie or sitcom, like the scenes where the couple don't get along at first, the awkward moments where the guy tries to impress her, they slowly grow a relationship, there's a third act breakup, but they'll get back together later. Also, it looks like there is a sense of world building within Element City, but the movie barely shows it. And it doesn't help either that some of the jokes don't stick the landing. So after pointing out the issues with the storytelling, does that make it a waste of the movie? No. There is still one component that is still in the driving force that definitely says you're watching a Pixar movie. The heart. Although the romance story isn't all that fresh, there is a believable chemistry between Ember and Wade, and whenever they hang out, we get to learn more about them individually as characters, and does point out that maybe fire and water can mix, even though others say they can't. On one hand, yes, water can put out a fire, or fire can boil up water. On the other hand, for an elemental person, we never see what will happen to them. So there is a way to see if these elements can mix together by taking one small step to confirm anything. Another thing I like, which is the best moment in the movie, is the allegory of immigration. It does show the history of the fire people on why Ember's parents moved to Element City, how they adapt to the new world and share their history and culture to their family and friends, and why the store means so much to Ember's dad and needs to be safe from danger. Now, a lot of people point out that this concept and commentary with fire and water has somewhat been done before with a universally acclaimed Disney movie, Zootopia. A film that takes place in a utopian-like city where all species live together and a female protagonist trying to find her place and wants to be taken seriously by teaming up with some guy she met the other day. However, Zootopia handled that world building and its own commentary about tackling social issues effectively because it showed how much Judy wanted to be a cop and can help and do amazing things like the big animals in the police department, even if she's a rabbit. In Elemental, they rarely focus on those social issues, mostly have Ember's dad have a hatred towards water in this love story until he learns that water isn't so bad after all. But once again, the strength of the movie is the execution between the two leads' relationship and the immigration commentary. With these two plot elements combined, the characters throughout the movie are actually likable. The movie's focus is all about Ember and Wade, which gives the characters some pros and cons. The biggest catch with the movie is that it wants to focus on Ember and Wade's relationship. Some characters don't really offer a lot. Before we can get to them, Ember is the fire girl that's trying to save her dad's store from being shut down. She's been given a big responsibility and positioned by her dad about being the new owner of the fireplace, but she does question if that's what she really wants. This causes her to be torn between two places of being with Wade and follow her own path, or run the fireplace so her dad can retire in peace. But the most important thing regarding all of this is that she wants to make her own choice while also being a good daughter to her papa. When she teams up with Wade, at first he's the over-the-top emotional crying person. However, he prefers to express his emotions than to keep them in, and does care about Ember and wants what is best for her due to a tragic past when he lost his dad. As characters individually, they do present some development and personality of their own thanks to their newfound voice actors, but when they go out together, it does show that they're not so different after all, and often help each other, like controlling Ember's temper, and Wade showing huge support loud and clear and thinking outside the box on how fire and water can possibly mix together. For the side characters, a few of them end up pretty forgettable and just don't offer a lot with the story of elements mixing, like Gale is Wade's boss that assigns the lover to solve the water leak, and Claude is the Earth kid that has a crush on Ember. The only side characters that actually show any contribution to the story are Ember and Wade's families. With Ember's dad, Bernie, he's the one to present the history of the Lumens and explain why he built his store in Element City. While he does care about the fireplace, he loves his daughter the most for being the best moment in his life moving to Element City. As for his wife Cinder, her role is to be the matchmaker who uses her skills to confirm that Ember and Wade are really compatible, and Wade's family present their own water family life and traditions and show some help and support to Ember for what she wants to do for a living. When making the animation, the animators watched some point-of-view city tours such as Venice and Amsterdam. They have 151,000 cores in 3 large rooms to make Elemental the most massive amount of computing power. As it turns out, the animation managed to mix all kinds of materials that they were given. For the character or element designs, they specifically made each character different from each other, no matter what element, as well as give all of them some great textures and special effects. The Earth people has grassy hairstyles with tree and rock-like bodies. The wind has different cloud shades and colors. Fire shows some great glowing and light effects, and water is transparent with some abstract bodies. But with their character movements, this is where everyone in Element City is so expressive and lifelike. When the characters become angry, sad, or happy, the designs on them does shift to show how they are currently feeling. It presents some visual moments like whenever Ember does some glass blowing on some broken cracks, or when the water people like Wade can squash and stretch in any shape or drift through small spaces and pipes. But then comes Element City itself. This is a highly colorful city, and there are some interesting places to check out. There's Firetown, Ember's home, where everything is dry and metallic. The Cyclone Stadium is a giant sports coliseum where you can't see the ground in the sports field. And Wade's hotel has a relaxing color scheme of blue and aqua covered in water. I will give a lot of credit, the animation is gorgeous, and it does feel like you are entering a world where everyone's a sentient element with special abilities, and Element City is a nice place to check out. There was definitely a lot of hard work and passion that went into this project. While I will admit this is not one of Pixar's highly acclaimed works, but I can't help but say that I had a good time watching this anime film. Elemental is a good anime film. It's not the best Pixar movie I've seen with a predictable story, but this is the movie you just want to have a good time like the Super Mario Bros. Movie. The romance between Ember and Wade is believable and makes them likable, the animation is gorgeous, and there is a lot of heart that went into this concept. For my recommendations, I say give it a watch if you're curious or you're into romantic comedies. And if you're a real die-hard Pixar fan and you want to see more originals instead of sequels, go see it in theaters if you haven't done so yet. Don't wait until it comes out on streaming just yet. The only Pixar content you should keep an eye out for later this year on Disney Plus is the upcoming Win or Lose anthology series. Speaking of which, before the film started, there was an anime short based off the movie Up called Carl's Day, and it was lovely. It captured the heart and spirit of the original and was an emotional tribute to the late Ed Asner. I don't know what the future holds for Pixar, making more movie originals or sequels, but what I do know based on the quality and success of their 2020 decade movies is that the fire is still shining bright, and it will remain lit for a really long time. I'm going to give Elemental a B. I'm Mad Hatter Patrick. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm going to the cyclosteam to make and surf the wave. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this, check out these other videos, or feel free to like, comment, and subscribe for more upcoming reviews and other projects. I'll see you soon.